Look, it's never surprising to say that Donald Trump is actually lying. But there are several types of lies out here. There are lies about, whether his crowds were large. There are lies about whether something that is nonsensical. But when you start lying about things like passing a bill, looking straight into your eyes and say it wouldn't cut your Medicaid, but it really would, could be fatal to you. Also, with respect to the invasion, or I should say, the bombing that the United States effected on Iran, that type of a lie and the results of that lie has serious effects. First of all, we'll discuss in another video that Donald Trump had no intelligence to go into Iran and bomb. He was actually caboozled into doing this from Netanyahu. But that is besides the point. The point is the mission to stall, to stop, to destroy Iran's nuclear program was a failure. According to their own internal reports, meaning the top secret reports, it did not accomplish its goal. And in fact, at best, it set back the program, the Iranian nuclear program, by a few months. But that's not what Donald Trump said. He said it obliterated all the nuclear reactors. Everything was obliterated, according to Donald Trump. I want you to listen to this piece, and then we'll take it on the other side.
So Donald Trump and all of his MAGA minions, many of his MAGA minions, I guess I should say, have been lying to the country for days. They have lied to all of us over and over and over again.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated.
We have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program.
We are confident, yes, that Iran's nuclear sites were completely and totally obliterated.
Iran's nuclear program has been completely and totally obliterated. I feel like maybe they had a note card that said obliterated on it and they gave it to all those people and made them say it. Who knows? But that was the message from the Trump administration since Saturday night. Clearly, that's what they kept saying over and over and over again. Even, by the way, as top members of the military, including high-ranking people within this administration, were saying it was too early to make an assessment. Because it was too early to make an assessment. And now here are the headlines from this afternoon. Here's one from CNN. Early U.S. intel assessments suggest strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites. From the New York Times, strikes set back Iran's nuclear program by only a few months, U.S. report says. That's according to an initial classified intelligence assessment, which reportedly found that the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, quote, did not collapse their underground buildings and set back Iran's nuclear program by only a few months. In fact, from all this reporting, a lot of it came out this afternoon, it turns out that much of Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium was moved before the strikes, which destroyed little of the nuclear material. In our own reporting, NBC News put an even finer point on it, saying, quote, an initial assessment by the Defense Intelligence Agency concludes that the U.S. airstrikes conducted over the weekend on Iran's nuclear enrichment sites were not as effective as Donald Trump said. To state the obvious, claiming you obliterated Iran's nuclear program doesn't make it so. And it's something that people then assess, including the military. But for Trump, it's always about the one day of headlines, the one-word slogan, claiming victory right off the bat, about obfuscation and defiance being prioritized over facts. And that will continue, I expect, even in the face of these new facts. Takes, for example, the statement released today by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Here's what she had to say. This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. Whew, there's a lot to unpack there. Couple questions here. If the assessment is flat out wrong, why was it classified as top secret, as she also characterized it? And if it's top secret, why do low-level losers, as she called them, have access to it? Lots of questions there. Her statement obviously makes no sense. Of course it doesn't. But we see this cycle constantly. Donald Trump says something, facts and reality say something else, and then his people have to kind of twist themselves into knots trying to explain why he's right and we're all apparently crazy, though we're not.
let's be clear, folks. There are lies that are, they're serious, but there are lies that cost us as a country a lot. How much money did it cost us to send the B-2 bombers as decoys across the Pacific to Guam, as we also send a squadron of B-2 bombers over the Atlantic, refueled it several times to get it there and back, dropped bombs that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, for a mission that ultimately isn't successful. One of the things that always behooves me, Iran is not a dumb country. Iran is not Iraq. Iran has an advanced society, has always had an advanced society. Scientists, engineers, the works. That's why Israel tried to knock out several of their scientists, because again, you can bomb the country, but you can't bomb the intelligence out of a country. And again, it's a big country, over 91 million people, with an intelligent population. A population that won't sit back and be a sitting duck for Israel and the United States to bomb. Did they know that a bombing was likely and coming? Of course. So what do you think they're going to do with their programs? Oh, yes, it's in a fortified mountain. And yes, it's in a fortified mountain that even our bunker busters likely did not get to. But that's beside the point. Do you think that's the only place they are? They are likely scattered all over that huge country, huge mountainous country where anybody can hide forever. There is a time when you start to believe your lies. There's a time when you start to believe a prowess that you really don't have. And that is where we are often as a country, with leadership that is imbecile. Believing we are who we are not, believing we can accomplish what cannot be accomplished. And Donald Trump is the master of showing what ineptitude can look like, what the incapability of doing stuff, even as you have the best military on earth. To think we have another 3 years and 6 months and 1 week of this is pathetic.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.